Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For those of you that watch me fairly regularly, you know I work mainly on Mercedes, but my sister-in-law has my old Land Rover Discovery Series 2, Discovery 2 and 01, and to be perfectly honest with you, it's been a great car. I know people like to slag off the Land Rovers, but I think like a lot of things, you know, they need good maintenance, good oil changes, keep the coolant, all that checked, and so during the process of repairing the car, that's why I'm not working on the Mercedes at the moment, is a blown cylinder head gasket. And so I'm trying to diagnose why exactly it blew a head gasket in the first place. I've done everything with the heads, you know, had them decked and everything. About 5 thou came off the decks. Also have had the exhaust manifolds checked for flatness. Did notice some bloke who ever done the gaskets before, which was when I owned it back in 08 under warranty, someone had shimmed the exhaust manifold real botchy and didn't check them, and they did have quite an arc on them. They weren't true, so that obviously a leaky exhaust manifold creates heat that puts a lot of heat in the aluminium heads and potentially lead to a head gasket failure. But anyway, that being said, we wanted to check the injectors as well. So that was going to cost over 200 bucks to have the injectors flow tested, all that business. And so I looked into this machine, this Autool CT160, and I didn't find it. I saw my friend on my Facebook group, Mercedes Maintenance, Sven. I think he's up in Canada actually, and he had one, and we had a little chat back and forth. And so on Sven's recommendation, I got one, and thanks Sven, I really appreciate it. It's an awesome machine. It's so much fun to do this and know that you're doing your own maintenance and saving a bit of money at the same time. So let me get you in close up and I'll show you it working in the back bath on the 4.5 injectors for a 108. I've still got to adapt the manifold to hold the 108 injectors, and then we'll show you a little test with the Bosch Land Rover injectors on the front side here. So let me get you in closer, and I'm sure you'll be as impressed as I am. So here it is. It's not an unboxing video because you know how to take things out of boxes. That was really easy. So anyway, so you've got these chambers with measuring marks all the way up and down the chambers. There's a test fluid in here. At the moment I'm using a mineral spirits just to kind of do the basic test, but there is a particular test fluid you use that's safe and gives you a good demonstration of the flow. But the mineral spirits actually works really good, and I will show you. Pressure gauge to set the pressure that's being delivered to each 4 injectors. So this is just 4, obviously you test 4 at a time. They do have 6 as well ones, but I just got this one. Anyway, so this is a drain plug thing to drain these after the test. And so that is it. These are loaded Land Rover injectors that I will show you in a second. And on the back side here, let me turn it round, there's a bunch of 4.5 from D-Jet injectors in here. Now what this is an electrolysis bath here, right? So you use this stuff, this fuel injector cleaner in the bath, right? You pour that in there, and then it uses it's a, you know, ultrasonic cleaner shaking, and then this is open and enclosing the injectors. They're just opening and closing. So I'll fill this up, give you a little demo, then I'll run you around the back side here and the front side, and then I'll show you it being worked on these Land Rover injectors. So this is an empty bath, right? So let's put some of this cleaning fluid in now. And you cannot use this in the front section to do the test. It's not safe to do that, but that's why I'm using mineral spirits, and then there are other liquids available for that testing process that I'm sure work better than the mineral spirits, but that'll do for this test. So I'll put that in there, right? Then we've got these 4.5 injectors. Now I have tested these before. There's certain type of jumper cables that will work with all manner of different injectors, just a matter of finding the one that works. So this is the two little spade connectors that go on there, and so we'll put those in this little rack here. I've loaded 3. I have 3 working ones here, and I actually had 2, right? And I'll show you what I did, and I was able to get one that wasn't any good working again, which was kind of cool. So we turn on the machine. Where's the on switch now? Right, turn this guy on. It's going through a series of tests on the front here. Cleaning switch, which will start the bath shaking. You can hear that? And then I press start. You can hear that clicking. Basically that's opening and closing all of those injectors while the bath is on. So I'm not going to run very long, just so you can see what. So that's the first process. You want to get them sitting in there. It's default to 20 minutes, so I'm assuming that's the recommended amount of time. So that's that feature, right? Now what I'm going to do is turn it around, plug the Land Rover injectors into the test at the front, and you'll see what that does. Before I swing it around and test the Land Rover injectors, so you saw the little test here in the bath. Just for safety's sake, I shot a little short recently. There's a little drainage plug on the bottom side of this tank. If you do pick up one of these machines, just check that that's tight, because after I did that little test with those 4.5 injectors, I went outside to help the missus, come back, and it had pissed all over the place. And what it was a little nut on the bottom of this sink. So obviously I took it off the electricity and removed the panel and just tightened up that little nut. So that's something to bear in mind. Just check it, just for safety's sake, because you know we're dealing with electrical and chemicals and all that business. So let me turn it round, set those injectors up, and you'll see it working. It's awesome, it is. So here we are. We set them up with the Bosch injectors from the Land Rover. And before we start, obviously this is a 4.5 injector from a D-Jet car, my 108. Now all you've got to do with this is there's a manifold at the top there, and these went straight in with these different adapters. You get all different adapters for different types of injectors, you see. And obviously because on the 4.5 we've got the hose, haven't we, the hose business. And so what I'm thinking, you've got these longer ones here. I'm thinking we'll go to the hardware store and thread in a barb fitting or something, so we can use these ones or one of these. I don't know yet. I'll go to the hardware store and figure it out. Pretty straightforward business to just get the hose hook up, and then we can start testing 4.5 injectors. But for this demonstration, we're just going to show you on these Land Rover ones. They do have blanking grommets as well, these 3 blank ones. So if you just wanted to test the one injector, obviously you have to blank off the other 3 holes, otherwise you'll have fluid all over the place. Anyway, so the test was set for 20 minutes on the ultrasonic bath, and there's a series of functions. And so what we're just going to do, we're going to go through, I'm not going to run them all the way through, but you'll get the idea. So we've got the first one. This is how to select it, you see, through the menu. The first one is a idling test, and it sets for 2.5 milliseconds. That's default. I just leave it at default for this demo. This is your pressure, set to pressure. Now I've set it for 50 psi. That's apparently what the Land Rover fuel injectors need to run from the pump. I think the 4.5's around 30, 35. I'll have to look that up. But anyway, so you set your pressure here, and then you just press play essentially. So we've got our mineral spirits as our test fluid. We're looking to be within around 2% of each other. This lever here is the lock to drain these, you know, so you have to lock it in position, and then it's going to take from a tank on the inside here and run it through. So it's a lot of fun. So watch this. So this is the idling test, and I'll just give it a few seconds, you'll see. It's just a Fairly slow pulse there, just sitting in traffic, waiting to go. So that's that little test, right? And we'll stop that. And all of them, there's not much of a measure to show you, but they all look pretty much the same. I've run these through a few times, these injectors, so they're pretty good actually. So now we got the what is that? Medium speed test. We'll go to the medium speed test. 3 milliseconds and looks like 1 minute. You can see we're getting a nice mist. I will zoom in on that. Good atomization on all injectors, no heavy drips coming down or anything. So we'll stop that. All pretty consistent. They're supposed to be within around 2% of each other to be good. So they're running good. Now just to show you how it works, I'm going to drain this now so we can drain the fluid out. Lock that back down. We'll go to the next test, is the high speed test. 3 milliseconds on the pulse. Run that for a few seconds. Again, nice and consistent across the board, which is great. This next one is kind of cool. It's the accelerator test. Now, I am going to let it run for a bit and then I'll get to the point where it builds up. So, okay, it's starting to build slowly, gets faster and faster. There you go. You got a speeding ticket. So yeah, really cool. So that's the accelerator test. Stop that. This one, where is this? This is the, man, my eyes are bad. A shifting speed test. I think that what that does, that varies it, goes up and down, up and down. So you get the idea. That's that one. Stop that one. This one is leak checking test. Now this is extremely important. So what that does, didn't tell you, well I did tell you, but this is my pressure test. So that stays at around 50 psi. So we're going to go to the leak test here. And for 2 minutes, it's going to pressurize those injectors with 50 psi. And you can check to see if they're dripping. So, let me see up there. We've got the pressure, they're obviously not firing, and we make sure they're not dripping, which, as you know, can be very, very bad for an engine, getting bore wash and all that stuff. So this test defaults to around 2 minutes, but as I say, I've run through these and these are all good injectors, and I tell you, they're very proud of these injectors. I went to the store just to ask how much these are, and obviously you wouldn't buy top retail, but they want $400 for these bloody injectors, which is ridiculous. You wouldn't pay that much, but at least $100 each, you know. So if you can test them and make sure they're good, this is an awesome little machine. So there's the pressure test. And then what's the next one? What we got? The idling spray test. I don't know what that one particularly does. I thought we were doing a lot of that anyway, but so this is just again another idling test. I've got to read the manual, and I've got to say the manual is a pretty good manual. It's very detailed, very clear and concise, so it's not a crappy manual. So that's that little test, and then the same for medium. We've got a medium test here. You getting the idea? We'll drain it, and then we'll go to the high speed. And that is it, my little demonstration of the Autool CT160. I'm very impressed with it, and just to give you a reason again why I bought this, working on the Land Rover cost over 200 bucks to send those injectors off. Believe it or not, you can pick one of these machines up for about 280, which is a screaming deal if you're doing a lot of this kind of work, or if you suspect an injector. I never thought I'd say that in my life, but anyway, if you suspect an injector, this is the way to go. So anyway, there you go, another toy for the shop. Another thing I didn't mention, which is obvious to you guys, is that it's got a nice backlight as well, so you can really clearly see the pattern, which is kind of a nice feature as well. Yeah, cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little video on the Autool CT160. Once we get this Land Rover out of here, I'll get room back. But while I was in the business of fixing the Land Rover heads, I ran the Mercedes 6.3 heads down the machine shop. Give him to him, see what he says about them. Now, as I suspected, valve guides are all shot, slopping around like a, pardon my French, like a prick in a bucket. And so anyway, the guides were shot, I knew that. And there was some wear on the stems of all of the valves to the point where we got to scrap them. I'm not doing all this work and putting those back in there. And so I got on to the Classic Centre, my friend Eddie down at the Classic Centre, and we got a set of exhaust valves. Let me show you them. Ooh, 8 new exhaust valves from the Classic Centre. They don't give these away. Anyway, these I don't believe are sodium filled like the originals, but I talked to the guy at the machine shop. Just don't worry about it, don't overthink it, these are fine. So we got the exhaust valves, no problem. They were sent up in just a few days. 80 bucks each, which, it's not cheap, but it's not the end of the world. So 80 bucks each for those. And as far as the intake valves, NLA, the dreaded NLA. So, okay, I did a little bit of research, reached out to a few people, talked to my guy down at the machine shop, and I thought, well, why can't I just get them made? I mean, a freaking valve. I mean, it can't be much to it. So anyway, my friend Don at the machine shop put me in touch with SI Valves down in Simi Valley in Southern California. Talked to a very nice gentleman, Pete, there. Cut long story short, I sent him one of the 6.3 valves. And also he has all the information on computer nowadays. He's got all the specs for 6.3, 6.9s, the whole gamut. And my investigation of 6.3 valves from Mercedes, if someone had them, they might have had 1 or 2 of them, and they were asking like 120 bucks, 130 bucks each. That starts to run up to some serious money. And so talking to Pete down at SI Valves, he can make me new valves out of, the name escapes me now, some fancy material. I can't remember what the name was, and I think they're called Inconel valves, I think, and they've got the Black Knights, they got titaniums. Sounds like a pawn shop down there. But anyway, so I said, it's going to be used daily. I'm not turbocharging, doing anything fancy. I just need a good, reliable valve. He said he can make them up. They'll be done in around 4 to 6 weeks, which I told him I'm not in any hurry, as you guys know. And for $69 a valve. So for around 550 bucks, I can get valves from this company, SI Valves in Simi Valley, Southern California. Very nice gentleman, Pete. So if you need valves, have a chat with him. They also do guides. And again, my friend Don at the machine shop said, don't buy the guides from Mercedes. And sorry, Mercedes, but he said they're kind of crap. But so I'm going to get manganese bronze or something from this SI Valves. And I talked to him, and he said the modern Mercedes valve guides are not good, and he said they're surprisingly not good. Now, I'm listening to someone who's been in the business for 40 odd years or more, and so I'm going to have the valve guides made by him as well, and probably the valve stem seals as well. So he does all the top end business, you know, in the head. So look him up if you're after valves or any of that stuff. So that's coming up. So I hope you enjoyed the video about the injector machine, and I will see you in the next one when I get this Land Rover out of here and on the road and back at it. Alright, take care guys. Please hit like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-da.